Hey, boys and girls, what's up? It's the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders, coming at you with some breaking news for this Thursday evening, February 26, 2015. Just a couple of minutes removed as this article was released. It looks like a former WWE champion is done with World Wrestling Entertainment. It's none other than Rey Mysterio. Yes, Rey Mysterio. I've been following this story very closely. I'm definitely going to not only talk about the news that came about, but I'm definitely going to give you guys some really good reactions to this. And as always, we appreciate you guys to interact with us. Let us know what you think about this piece of news. You can do so by commenting down below, or you can hit us up on Twitter at the RCWR Show. Facebook, as we do have a Facebook page, it's Infinity One Productions. That's Infinity with an E, put in the actual number one, Infinity One Productions, or you can go to our website. Oh, actually, let me back up to our Facebook page. I keep getting it mixed up with our website. Infinity One Productions, our Facebook page. Spell it out. I repeat, spell it out. Infinity One Productions. Or you can go to our website at Infinity One Productions. With the website, just put in the actual number one, and you can actually click on the RCWR Show voicemail tab. It's a little gray box in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that and you can leave your reactions to the news as well. It's something that we're really trying to make sure we incorporate here on our live web shows and also on our radio shows. Try to really push the envelope as far as interactions goes. And when you leave a voicemail message, you have about 90 seconds. So if you can make your point in 90 seconds or less, that's great. Doesn't cost you a dime. As long as you have your tablet, your desktop, your Android, your smartphone, don't matter. You can leave your message. You don't pay anything. We set it up that way so you don't have to pay. So without any further ado, we got to give credit where credit is due. And big shout out to Raj over at WrestlingInc.com. As I told you guys that follow us on Twitter, if you're going to follow anybody for wrestling news and all that, you go with Wrestling Inc. because they do what's necessary to verify information. Very, very rare do they mess up. And if they do, they have the guts, the kahunas to issue an apology. But Raj, the head guy in charge of WrestlingInc.com, he had confirmed by reaching out to someone within WWE for a statement on Rey Mysterio, and he is in fact done with the company. As the way it's looking right now, Rey Mysterio has been moved to the alumni section of the WWE.com site. And when Raj reached out to WWE, the statement that they issued to him to share with the rest of the wrestling community was, in direct quote, Rey Mysterio is no longer under contract with WWE. Those of you that know your Rey Mysterio history, you know about his work in WCW. And if you don't, you can definitely go back and relive some of his greatest moments on the network. That's not a cheap plug. I'm just saying you can check out some of his greatest matches in one nice, convenient little place, or you could maybe see if you could do some stuff on YouTube or Daily Motion. But he was signed in the WWE back in 2002. And to his credit, he won the World Heavyweight Championship twice. And he won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship once. We need to also note that the last time that he did anything for the WWE was a match against Bad News Barrett the night after WrestleMania 30. So I've been following this story for a good minute now. And basically, I think the way this all really had came about was the fact that there was one point, and we've joked about it on the show many times. And look, I love Rey Mysterio. I love him tremendously, but I would have to say within the past 3.5 to 5 years, Rey Mysterio has just been having nagging injuries with his knees, and it's because of the type of style that he brings into the ring. And, honestly, the type of style that he has, I mean, he goes all out. Now, in the later years, nowhere compared to his days in WCW, nowhere compared to that. But he was still pushing it very, very hard. There were some moves that he took out of his arsenal. But I tell you, man, that 619, hey, unfortunately, that's his trademark. That's how everybody knows him. They can connect with him with that move. I wish that was one of a few moves that he would have stopped doing, and maybe he would still be with the WWE to a certain extent. I have no clue. I'm only telling you of a theory I have, and I could be wrong on that. But when Rey Mysterio started dealing with the knee problems, it just seemed like the more and more time that would pass by, like the longer it would take for him to come back from that injury. I can remember one point where one of the first times he was having knee problems, he was gone for 3 months. Then it turned to 6 months. Then it turned into a year, and it just kept magnifying like that to the point that you're like, when the heck is Rey Mysterio coming back? Then when you do see Rey Mysterio come back, he's only back for a couple of weeks, and then boom, he's gone again. Um, just like, what the hell? And don't get me wrong, WWE, the way they tried to handle Rey Mysterio and his contract as one of the last times he went out on injury, WWE, they basically said, okay, well, look, you still owe us some time. You still owe us dates. We need you to deliver on that. So what we're going to do, this X amount of time that you're gone, we're going to tack that on to the end of your contract. And this is publicly known, as one of Rey Mysterio's best friends is Conan. And, he's been doing a lot of stuff down there at the Lucha Underground promotion or whatnot. And Rey Mysterio, he did not like that idea whatsoever, because he finally got to a point where he was kind of saying to himself, you know what? I don't think I'm fit for WWE's schedule anymore. I think it's maybe time for me to go explore other options. I mean, you got to remember, this guy's been going like practically nonstop until he was having those injuries. And so he stopped cashing WWE's checks, and they have just been duking it out all these months. I know Conan tried to jump in there a little bit, and he was talking about discrimination, racism, and all that. And I don't know if he made matters worse or what, but WWE, they were very, very adamant from what all I was able to learn about the situation. They were trying their best to get a hold of Rey Mysterio for some type of a new deal. I'm sure as far as a part-time in-ring performer goes, they probably got to the point where, it doesn't look like maybe that's an option. Well, maybe we can offer him some type of a Legends contract. At least that way he can still be part of WWE network specials, things of that nature. As I'm sure if you all that have the network, you can back me up. You've seen him pop up on a few specials, definitely during the Monday Night War. Matter of fact, I think there was a whole episode that was dedicated to that guy of that series. So I don't know. It's possible that maybe they might have reached some type of a Legends deal with him. Who knows? If I were a betting man, no, I don't think so. Just the fact that WWE said straight up, Rey Mysterio is no longer under contract with WWE. That's it. He's done. And, for me, I know some people, when they look at Rey Mysterio and they think about his career, some people will be quick to say, well, Rey Mysterio, he really didn't become popular until that one infamous episode of WCW where the NWO, they basically picked him up, put him over his shoulders. I think it was Kevin Nash that did it, and basically like a dart just like through the window, or no, it was a wall of a trailer park little office unit or whatever. Everybody was like, oh, that's how really a lot of people connect with Rey Mysterio, is like that moment alone is what had put him on the map and all that. But when you really, really break it down, I think for people that say that, they can't really appreciate the great matches that Rey Mysterio has given us wrestling fans over the years, because he's definitely delivered some very classic matches. When I first heard about the news, I just couldn't help but sit down and make a list of Rey Mysterio matches that I was fortunate enough to see over the years, first take. You know what I'm saying? Like when it actually went down, and then check it out years later. And just for me personally, I'm curious what you guys think, but just off the top of my head, one of the matches that jump out to me the most, Rey Mysterio taking on Chris Jericho, WWE The Bash 2009. The storyline for that, I loved it. I loved it tremendously. Chris Jericho just had developed this obsession with unmasking Rey Mysterio. He wanted his mask. Chris Jericho's whole deal was, why does this person hide behind a mask? What is it that they're hiding? And he just would not stop at nothing unless he had Rey Mysterio's mask. And when you think about the story from WCW, where Rey Mysterio was unmasked, which was one of the most dumbest moves that WCW ever did, in my honest opinion. I understand they were trying to adapt with the times, what was going on with culture, and rap was really, really big at that point because you had the Tupacs running around, you had the BIGs, all that. So they were really trying to adjust with the times. And unfortunately, Rey Mysterio was one of those victims where, believe it or not, he actually had to cough up his mask as they tried to repackage him and everything. Oh, probably the blackest moment in Rey Mysterio's career, I felt, because he just was never the same after that. He was just some average looking Joe. Put it to you this way, he was like a watered down version of Hunico. If you guys remember Hunico before he started doing the whole Rey Mysterio, not Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara stuff and all that, that's how it kind of came off. But that was a really great program with Jericho that he had, or Edge, Rey Mysterio taking on Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, No Mercy 2002. If you're a WCW fan, any match with Eddie Guerrero, but a lot of people would be quick to point out WCW Halloween Havoc of 1997. My personal favorite, the storyline is what really reeled me in, and just to be glued every single Friday night to SmackDown, Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio for the custody of Dominic. It basically culminated at SummerSlam 2005. And for me, my number one, and it has great sentimental value because I'm a big HBK Shawn Michaels fan. And I'm actually going to be seeing him this weekend, as he's going to be in my respected area for the book tour that he's doing for his Wrestling for My Life book. Rey Mysterio versus Shawn Michaels, first time ever, WWE Raw, November 14th, 2005. That was the Raw episode that aired the night after Eddie Guerrero passed away. That was an Eddie Guerrero tribute special. That, for me, phenomenal match. When you watch that, you're like, wow. You know, the way those guys wrestled each other that night for a first time ever, it really seemed as if they had been fighting one another over the years, you know, because they just clicked so well. And like so many of us just wanted to see a program develop out of that as a result. But for me, those are my fondest Rey Mysterio matches that always puts a smile on my face. I'm sure many of you are probably like, well, Lee, what do you think is going to happen to Rey Mysterio now? Where do you see him going? What do you see him doing? I know some people are just screaming, Lucha Underground. It's all about Lucha Underground. I've watched enough Lucha Underground. He would not be able to hang with Ricochet. Let's be honest. He would not be able to hang with that man. Or Prince Puma, whatever they're calling him now. I know him as Ricochet. He's not going to be able to hang with that guy. John Morrison, or Johnny Mundo, he could probably slow his style down a little bit, and he could probably, you know, tone it down and kind of come right there on Ray's level and everything. But Lucha Underground really jumps out at me the most, but for a different reason. Like, as far as maybe Ray could contribute in a creative standpoint, in a training standpoint, being a trainer, you know. or maybe being that opposite to Don Guario, maybe a situation like that. I'm not really sure. Actually would be shocked to see him do some in ring work. If he does, like I said, I would expect a Johnny Mundo, um, Rick, aka Ezekiel Jackson. I would expect for guys with a more slower style to be able to handle him, work with him, make sure that he's safe and all that. That is one option. Some people are like, well, what about Ring of Honor? I don't see that happening. TNA Wrestling, there's an idea, isn't there? I look at the TNA roster and I can just think of some really good programs off the break. I could think about him in EC3. I can picture him doing something with Kurt Angle. That brings back some memories, actually. I could see him doing some stuff with MVP. He has a lot of options down there. He could do something with Spud. Lot of options. He could team up with the Wolves. He could team up with the Hardys. He could work a program with the Cowboy James Storm, Sonata. He could definitely hang with Manic. There's a lot more options for him if he wanted to wrestle on a somewhat part-time basis, and TNA's schedule, it would definitely accommodate him, no problem at all. A lot of the guys that's down there could definitely meet his style, but I think what would probably be a factor is money. Whereas with Lucha Underground, the issue is probably money as well, but Ray could probably turn a blind eye to money if he gets a very low amount, mainly because of the people that's already there in place. One of the key people being Conan, which is his buddy. So I think if you're really gonna look at it and be like, where's he possibly gonna go? Lucha Underground is probably the best option. New Japan Pro Wrestling, working with Jeff Jarrett, Global Force. No, I unfortunately don't see any of that happening. Safest bet is Lucha Underground. Would I be surprised if he did something with TNA? No, as I said, you got the reduced schedule, all the people that he could work with, they could match up with his style very easily, protect him very well. But I just don't see that happening, mainly because of the low pay and the way that they have their deal structured and all that. Where a lot of the wrestlers, unfortunately, they can't appear for a wrestling promotion that's going to be taping their events to air on iPay-per-view, DVDs, things of that nature. They can go out and work the events. They just can't appear in any of those type of mediums because it basically creates a conflict of interest, if you will. But that's my wishful thinking on that. Am I going to miss the guy? Yes and no. Real quickly, I'm going to miss him because for me personally and for selfish reasons, I wish he would have had a proper send off. I wish he could have went back to the WWE, and I'm probably sure Rey Mysterio tried very hard to, entertain the idea of coming back for one last run, but maybe because of the dates that WWE had in mind, maybe that was just a little bit too much for him. Who knows? I know there is a report that was floating around that at one point WWE was trying to have Rey Mysterio come back like several weeks ago so they could begin some type of a program that would see him end his WWE career at WrestleMania. I don't know how much of that is true or not, but for selfish reasons, I wish he was still within the WWE just so he could have that final bow on the grandest stage of them all. It looks like we're unfortunately not going to get that. WWE Hall of Fame, oh, without a shadow of a doubt. When it will go down at this point, safe to assume that things are probably a little bit bad and sour on both ends. Probably won't go down for about maybe, I'd say give it about 3, maybe 4 years. Everything kind of cools down a little bit. He's definitely a lock. He'll go into the Hall of Fame. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that is what I think with regards to that. I want to know what you guys think. So go on ahead, post your comments down below. And again, you can interact with us on Twitter at the RCWR Show or on our Facebook page, Infinity One Productions, Infinity with an E, spell out one. Infinity One Productions. And remember, take advantage of our new voicemail because we're really going to be relying on that in the very near future, like beginning now. So head over to our website at Infinity One Productions. All the links you need is down below. There's a little voicemail tab as soon as you visit our website in the upper right-hand corner. It's titled the RCWR Show voicemail. Give me your thoughts on Rey Mysterio in 90 seconds or less. It's free, doesn't cost you a thing. If you have an Android, a smartphone, a tablet, desktop, laptop, as long as you got a built-in mic with whatever device you're using as you're navigating to our site, you can click it, you can leave a voicemail, no problem. So comment on that. In the meantime, share this. You can do it a number of ways. Facebook it, Google Plus it, retweet it. One of the many ways you can spread a good word about our content. Please make sure you give this a thumbs up. When you give it a thumbs up, you're definitely showing that appreciation for us as YouTube creators, video uploaders. And in the meantime, that is going to do it. If you're new to us, welcome. Love to have you subscribe so you never miss out on all the great content we do for you here on a weekly basis. When it comes to breaking news like what we're doing right now, we're giving you guys some really fun reviews or some really laid back interviews. We do a little bit of something for everybody. So hit that subscribe button and make sure you come back here over the weekend. I'll be sharing my experience exclusively with you, our YouTube audience, of my meeting with Shawn Michaels, as I'm going to try to get in one or two questions about his book. I also have a review for that for you guys as well this weekend. So check it out. And in the meantime, be safe and most importantly, be kind to one another. See you next go around. Everybody do take care.